Hey traders, how are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Do we have sound and screen? Everything is good? Excellent. Thank you very much. So thank you so much for joining me tonight on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Where are you coming to me from? Here in Austin, it is a beautiful evening. Yes, of course. Ann Arbor, Michigan, Dallas, oh, very close by, Ontario, Buffalo, New York, Orlando, Allen, Texas, Phoenix, another Dallas. Wow, we should start a group. Whidbey Island, you know I'm from Seattle, right? I love Whidbey Island, New Jersey, San Diego, UK, Seattle, Utah, California. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Tonight, we're going to be talking about my account leverage secret. I mean, we're really going to be focusing on the way that I use low risk options trades to make nice percentage gains. And so what I've been doing, particularly in this current stock market condition, which has been a little bit crazy, I've been calling this the pinball mode, is I've been adjusting my strategies and focusing on slightly different patterns, risk parameters, and then the actual option strategy in and of themselves. And that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So you may have come here based on any of the newsletters that I've written or the emails that you've gotten. And these are going to be the trades that we're going to be talking about tonight, but I'm also going to be talking about a variety of different market conditions. And so up front, I just wanted to show you, this is the type of trading that we're doing in this market environment. During a trending market environment, I'm going to have a different focus, but right here and now, for me, 25%, 50%, 75%, that is what I'm focusing on. And I'm doing it in a way that has defined risk, primarily with butterflies, spreads, and unbalanced butterflies. And we have to learn to shift and adjust with the times. And so that is why I'm doing this presentation and what we're going to talk about tonight. So here's a couple of different examples of trades that you may have seen, longer explanations in the email, and we're all going to go through these here tonight. So like I was saying, we're going to go through a couple different things throughout this presentation. We're going to talk about maximizing gains, maximizing risk to reward, how I'm trading the 3 different market phases, why I'm locking in profits faster in the current pinball market phase, and when you need to focus on the best of breed ETFs and stocks. Also, I did want to point out that I'm going to be giving you an exclusive download for all of you who are joining me here live tonight. And this is actually going to be a sneak peek from my upcoming book. So make sure you check that out. It'll be right at the end and it'll be sent to you in your email. So first of all, my name is Danielle. How many of you are familiar with me? Maybe you're in the newsletter or the trading room. I'm a market analyst. I'm a trader, expert commentator. I'm the director of options here at Simpler Trading. You can find me in the trading room daily, usually. And you can also find me in the John Carter's 3rd edition of Mastering the Trade, as well as on a variety of different news channels where I love to do some expert commentary. Following me for a while, you are awesome. Oh, thank you. Groupie here. You saw me on Fox News. Awesome. Is 7 out of 8 wins a normal ratio? So that is the ratio that I've been following for the past couple weeks within my program. And that's why we're focusing on those right now. We're going to be talking about the different win ratios that we see and the different percentage ratios that we see as the market shifts. And so right now, we're going to focus on the pinball market, but I'm also going to take you through a variety of other market conditions and the type of ratios that I aim for during those market conditions. So I'm so glad that you're here with me tonight. Just a little bit about me for those of you who haven't met me before. You know, it wasn't all that long ago that I was learning how to trade. Here's me, my son Leo. I learned from the trading room from a variety of different classes. And here's my brother building my first trading computer, my son putting up with my classes in the background. And at this point, you know, I'm an expert commentator and contributing author. So I've come a long ways, and it's my goal always to bring you along on this journey with me. There's a couple different places you may have seen me. I know I got a couple different, oh yes, Phoenix Finder and 5-Star Trader. Excellent. You look for me on TV. Yes, yes, and yes. You never heard of me before except for the class I took. Well, I hope you enjoyed your class. So you may have seen me in any of these variety of places, the trading room, classes, perhaps you're brand new, but no matter what, we're just on this crazy journey here together. And wow, has it been a journey? Over the course of the last month in particular, we have seen quite a bit of volatility in the stock market, and more than ever, it's really important to have this strong community so we can get through this together. Trading, you know, I feel like, I don't know if it's divine intervention or what, but I feel like I was always meant to be a trader. But that being said, that doesn't mean I was just going to wake up one day and have all of these skills, right? And it also didn't happen overnight. I studied, listened, learned, asked questions. Here's me sitting in the, I don't even know what you would call this, but I was on Fox in New York when I went a couple weeks ago. And when they don't have all of the commentators in studio, they have you sit in this little room so it looks the same, even though you're right there in studio. So anyways, that's me in New York on Fox a couple weeks ago. But it's just to point out that, you know, I got here because of the connections that I made within the community, asking questions, identifying mentors, and keep going. These right here are the paths to success. And when I look back, I know that it's been tricky, but it would be so much nicer to have a shortcut on this journey. It really reminds me of my garden story. How many of you have seen the garden story in the newsletter? You're meeting me for the first time now? Well, welcome. Well, you get a little bit of a live version right now with photos. So when my husband and I got our house, the people before us, they didn't really take care of the lawn. And there was a spot in the corner. We'd always go sit out on the patio and look at it. And it drove me crazy because there's dead sticks there, there's rocks. And I would look at it and I'd say, oh my gosh, you know, I really want that to be just a nice, beautiful spot. And so I don't know how to garden. I don't know how to plant things. And one day I just got up and I went to Lowe's and I said, you know what? I'm going to make a garden right there. So I cleared out that entire space with our son, Leo. And I just had this goal in mind that I was going to make it look pretty. I didn't really know how I was going to go about that. I am new to Texas. I've only lived here for 3 years. And I don't know. I just thought it would be fun. So Leo and I, we hung out. We cleared out the entire area. We made a beautiful flower garden. And he was so proud. He wanted to take pictures, send them to grandma and grandpa. We were so excited. And there was one key factor that we just completely ignored that in hindsight would have been good to take into consideration, but it was the dogs. So you know who also loves digging in the dirt? And it's not just Leo. Puppies. So it wasn't even a day later. It was the exact same day that these dogs had sat there and watched us plant in the garden. And they waited until we went inside, and immediately they just destroyed the entire thing. And so my son, he comes outside, he sees it. Oh my gosh, he was so upset. He cried. And me, I mean, I know how much time we spent, but I also know that I wasted at least $200 to $300 of plants that were now completely shredded. So it was very, very sad. And it reminds me of my first year of trading. Who can attest to the fact that the first couple of years of trading are a little bit tricky? If your slides aren't updating, try to refresh. Yeah, first years of trading are a little bit tricky. And you know, it's funny because now my first couple years of trading are chronicled in John's third edition of Mastering the Trade. The good, the bad, the ugly. More on that later. The dogs destroying the garden was honestly like holding long calls through earnings. It was a big mistake that traders make, one that can easily be avoided, but I just made a stupid mistake. It's a cautionary tale and it's so common. And I know that it takes traders a while. And I know that because I've been there. And I also know that because I talk to traders every single day. But at the same time, when I went to go create my garden, I didn't even consider that I should think about anything else other than what I wanted, which was flowers, right? But, you know, I remind myself it's okay to try and fail, but it's not okay if you fail to try. So I started again. So this year we started again with, of course, Leo telling everyone at Lowe's that the first garden was destroyed because of me, but that's okay. We were going to try again. So this year we planted a vegetable garden, and keep in mind, I don't know how to grow vegetables, but it was so glorious. And Darrell and I, we loved watching all of our plants sprout. We had fresh herbs. We made jalapeno poppers. It was amazing. And every single time I had another plant start to grow, I got even more excited. And guess what I did? I went to go buy more plants. However, my high faded very, very quickly. Everything was great. And then all of a sudden, left and right, I had, you know, peppers getting destroyed. My tomatoes were getting destroyed. The cucumbers, I don't even know what that is. Squirrels liked my tomatoes, and spider mites got into the green beans. And it was just like trading. When you first start trading and you think, oh, I'm just going to buy long calls and this is going to be amazing. But then there's resistance in your way. There's earnings announcements. There's different factors that you don't take into account. And I learned it the hard way. So despite seeing the fruits of my labor, I still went back on the struggle bus. And if I had asked someone from the very beginning, hey, can you give me some advice about how to plant a garden in Texas? Because I don't really know how to grow tomatoes and I don't know how to grow green beans. And what about a cucumber? Someone probably could have given me advice, but instead I'm a couple grand in the hole. I have nothing. And I've spent countless hours watering, planting, and it's really just the same in trading. So this is me, this little graphic of me being super stubborn because I wish I would have asked for help. So it's just like options trading. We're going to talk about the market conditions. We're going to start with the current one, and then we're going to talk about the varying strategies that work right now so that we can swim with the waves. So over the course of the past several years, what I've done is I've studied the traders that I've learned from, and I've also studied all of you that I talk to every day. And what I've come up with is a formula to figure out how this all comes together. So number one, I think the most important factor here is the market condition. Understanding the market condition and knowing which one you're in is absolutely critical to success. The next piece of this is specific setups, high probability moments in time that get results, okay? And you have to know which one to use in a specific time frame. The next piece of that is strategy application, knowing when to apply a butterfly, a spread. And then this is the part that's the most critical to my trading strategy. For those of you who follow me, know that I really focus on low risk, cheap trades that have high reward. I don't believe in risking a ton of money per trade, but of course, you know, this is adjustable per account size. So let's talk about the market phases. Who is familiar with the market phases? Yes, from John. Heard about it from John. Yes. And so the market phases are very critical, right? We can talk about accumulation and reaccumulation and distribution, but the fact of the matter is you have to know how to trade these market phases. And so for me, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at 3 different key trading phases. Each market condition requires a certain finesse. To become the master of the trade, you have to have a strategy for each. So my 3 prime strategies are: number 1, the easy trend follow. For those of you who've been with me in my class, this is the Ready Aim Freedom class that I taught, which is based on the 5-star setup, okay? The stock pickers market right here, this is Phoenix, okay? This is focusing on relative strength names. You have to focus on relative strength and relative weakness. And the pinball mode is what we're in right now. So if we talk about this and we say, okay, well, why are these different conditions? What makes them different? Well, the trending market is going to be a nice, easy trend follow. And the key about this is that you're going to have the majority of stocks, sectors, and indexes trading higher, okay? You don't really need to differentiate between them too much because it's like a tide that's lifting all shifts, okay? Ships, not shifts. The stock pickers market is a little bit different because while you do have a trending market, you're going to have stocks and sectors that are stronger. And so you have to be better about picking those stocks. Now, the pinball mode is most frustrating because, like you say, tweets, this is what is impacting this mode, right? And so this mode that we are currently in, it's characterized by violent higher and lower movements within a channel. It's particularly impacted by news and emotion more so than the previous conditions. And so if we go back and if we look at this previous slide and you say, okay, well, I can go on Wikipedia or, Investopedia or whatever, and we can learn about the market phases. And that's important. And I'm not going to tell you it's not important. But you have to have strategies that you use in these different methods. And my strategies are low cost, conservative. And for me, the pinball mode, you can use the pinball mode in accumulation and distribution and reaccumulation and redistribution as well. And then when you're in the trending market environment, you're going to use a combination of, depending on if it's a straight trend or a stock pickers market, that's when you're going to adjust either one of those strategies. But that is what we're looking at here today. So right now, what mode are we in? Well, you can go back, and this goes back to July of last year. And we're currently in pinball mode. And so I don't know about you, but when we entered into this most recent phase, it was on August 5th. And the catalyst may have been a tweet about the escalation of the trade war. Okay, that's fine, but it's just a catalyst. And that catalyst is what then starts the phase. And so it doesn't really matter. What matters is what is the technical pattern and how we trade it. And so this is when this phase began. And ever since, we've been in pinball mode. And so you have to have strategies for this pinball mode. Now, after pinball mode resolves itself, keep in mind, it's not going to be here forever, even though it's been a little bit crazy the past 5 weeks. It's not going to be here forever. It's either going to resolve itself to the upside, like it did here, or it's going to resolve itself to the downside like it did here. Honestly, I don't care which way it resolves because I have a trending market strategy, stock picker strategy, and I'll trade it either direction. The key is to be watching it and to know what to do. So what is pinball mode? This is the market condition that is characterized by violent higher and lower movements within a channel. It bangs back and forth like a pinball. It's impacted by news, by emotion, by tweets, but mainly the fact of the matter is that it's impacted by emotion. And so you have wide range expansion days, and you have to be particularly aware of support and resistance. So how do I adjust my strategies during this mode? Okay, this is very, very critical to your success as a trader. You cannot, absolutely cannot use the same strategies that you use in a trending market or a stock pickers market in pinball mode. It is not going to work. If you try to target your full 1272 extension on a daily squeeze, forget about it, because you know why? Most of the time you're not going to get a full extension. You're getting a pinball back and forth between support and resistance. And so that's why we focus on easy targets, smaller profit targets, you know, between 25, 75% on average. I usually say 50% because that's a pretty good average. And then I also trade with shorter time frames. This is also a key piece that this part right here is the absolute hardest for traders, okay? And especially for us who are accustomed to trading with momentum, you have to go against the momentum. And it is the absolute most difficult part, because I'll be doing the trading room and the stock market will gap up and people will say, well, shouldn't you be buying right now? No, we want to go against the momentum, because that is what you do in pinball mode. In a directional mode, yes, you follow the momentum, but that's not the case right now. So we're going to be talking about a couple of different trades because I want to show you some examples. So in this mode, one characteristic of pinball mode is that you have frequent gaps, which they can be a royal pain unless you know how to maneuver them properly. So for example, here is a trade that I placed in the SPX. So you can see right here, you have this nice trend, and then you have the break, and then you enter into the pinball mode, right? You can visualize that. And so what you're doing is you're trading back and forth against the trend. So what I did on this one, this was one of my more expensive trades. I got into it. It was $11 a contract. So it was about $1,165 per contract. Got in right here. And then guess what? The market gapped down, took my profits, boom, turned 1,165 into 1,905 on a gap down. You know how many times you have a gap down and it just seems like a total nightmare? Well, if you're trading the pinball mode accurately, the gap downs shouldn't be like that. So the next piece of this is Boeing. This is another trade where I was focusing on the key area of overhead resistance at about 368. And so Boeing is definitely one of the weaker stocks, in this sector. And I was focusing on trading it away from this area of resistance. Gap down, boom, there we go. A 48% overnight. Next, taking advantage of gaps on McDonald's. So McDonald's is an interesting case because McDonald's is a honey badger until today. McDonald's got a little bit hammered today, but it's been very strong to the upside. And it's also been one that has had these overnight gaps. So I went ahead and got in here, got out here, very, very quick trade per contract. $121 initially, just risking 305 per contract. Very small trade, very quick trade. The next one here is another trade on an index. So instead of using the SPX, we're now using IWM. So same thing here. I mean, you're really just focusing on the upwards and downwards movement of this index and trading it back and forth in this pinball mode. So with selected strikes and timing, I was able to come out with a profit of $173 a contract while only risking 300 bucks. So it's more than 50% profit on a slow, easy trade. TXN, same thing here. This one I got in one day too early. So I got in here, we gapped down overnight, but then the next 2 days it gapped up and made up for, of course, that one day that it traded lower. And that's also another really important point in this market is you have to be willing to take some heat. And that's why I'm trading smaller position size at this moment in time. Looking at some break-even trades. So I know you want to hear about break-even and a loss, because I think that's really important as well. And in this type of market, you have to be willing to cut losses and you have to be willing to take trades off. And so for this one, I had shorted the Russell and I was looking for the Russell to falter against this area of resistance right here. and it was going against me, going against me, going against me. And it came down and I said, you know what? I'm going to take this off for break even. I don't want to have this risk on the table. It was one of my more aggressive trades. So I took it off. And guess what happened? Boom, down she goes. So I had shorted the Russell. My target was pretty much perfect, which was a very sad situation. But, you know, I took it off because I followed my plan, and because in this market environment, I had to be more conservative, follow my plan, and I would rather take a break even than a loss. You want a loser? Well, here's a loser too. I want to show you how sometimes in trading, this is how it goes. You're going to have losers sometimes. But the most important part about my trading strategy is I work to quantify these the risk allocation, and you have to learn how to cut it off. So in this example, I shorted Honeywell up at this key area of resistance. And as you can see, it actually blazed through this area of resistance. Why did it do that? Well, we actually entered into this phase of major sector rotation where you had money pouring into the industrial. So it was, I don't want to say it was rare, but it's definitely not something that happens every day. So on this trade, I ended up getting out for a loss. I had a pretty cheap butterfly. I think it was $2, and I got out for about 79 cents. So a little bit less than a little bit more than 50% loss, but that is a loser. I want to show you, and I want to show you how I manage my risk by cutting it off when you cut through a resistance. So let's transition. This is what I'm doing during the pinball market, okay? Do Fib Queen's timing analysis help with the entry? Oh, yeah. Do you still use the indicators like the squeeze and the ready, aim, fire in the same way in the pinball mode as in other environments? So yes, I do still use the squeeze, but the problem with the pinball market is that because it's so volatile, you're not going to get the nice, easy trend follow with consolidation and then explosion. And so, yes, absolutely. I always look at the squeeze. But because of the market condition that we're in, you can't really take that into too much consideration. One thing that I am taking into consideration is the fact that we're having squeezes building up on multiple major sectors and indexes. And so while we're in this condition where the market is going up and down and up and down, guess what? That chart is squeezing, and that's setting up for a huge move on a larger time frame. And so until we get that huge move either up or down, we're stuck in pinball mode, and that is what we're trading. Understand, but how do you find these trades? And Craig says he loves the slide. Awesome. I love that too. We love dogs, so. So I'm going to get to finding the trades, but I want to talk to you about a variety of different market conditions, because the pinball is the one that we're in right now, and that's the one that I'm focusing on right now. But I also want to talk about the other market conditions. So we have pinball, we have the stock pickers, we have the trending market. Now, many of you might be familiar with Henry Gambell. So Henry is vice president here at Simpler Trading. He's also my primary trading partner. And it was him that taught me the butterfly strategy. And what I did was I melded it into my Danielle framework. And this is what I do. And I use the strategy every single week. Why do I use it? It's low risk, high reward. It allows you to sit through volatility. And I call this the stack profits methodology. Here are a couple different trades that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago when we were in this nice, easy trending environment, and why I came to do this to begin with. Because I know, there's a lot of people who will say, hey, why do you do butterflies? Oh my gosh, it's so complicated. Why are you posting unbalanced butterflies? And this is the reason why. So let me take you back a couple of years ago when I was trading just, basic squeezes on stocks like Amazon, Microsoft, and nice, easy trend follows, okay? And it was this squeeze right here. I think this was in summer of 2017, I think, or 2016. And Henry and I were both trading this daily squeeze on Amazon. And in my typical Danielle conservative fashion, I was selling put credit spreads at these lows. And I was super proud of myself. I made full profit on my put credit spreads that I had sold for 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, $250. But Henry, on the other hand, huge rug. Henry, on the other hand, I asked him, you know, I was super excited. And I said, hey, so what did you make on the trade? And there's no way he's going to tell me because he's very humble. He said, oh, you know, I had a butterfly here. My center strike was at 1050 and it was $50 wide. And I'm doing the math and I'm like, wait a minute. So you bought a butterfly for $10 and you're selling it for 47. How many contracts of that did you have? And of course, you know, he's very humble. He doesn't want to brag. And so I immediately realized he completely crushed this move, not to mention his Delta 70 calls he had on here. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to trade some butterflies. So a couple years later, after I spent time learning the strategy and honing it, at this point in time, I've gotten to the point where I focus on buying these low risk trades. This one in Amazon, for example, I bought this for $1.34 and I ended up selling it for $13.39. And it's those type of out of the money butterflies when you specifically select your pinning strike and the expiration that you're really able to maximize your profit potential. Now that, I'll be honest with you, that was an amazing example. It was a great example. That's what we all dream for, okay? 1,200%, but I'm not going to tell you you're going to get 1,200% over and over and over again. Yes, you can do it. Yes, it's possible. And you're never going to be able to do it if you don't learn the strategy, right? But on a normal basis, throughout a nice, you know, trending market or in a stock picking market environment, I typically focus on between 200%, 300% on an average for butterflies. So for example, here's another one with Adobe. I got into this trade for $445. So, you know, $445 contract, then out for $963. So you can see those are the type of trades that I typically do. Here's another one that was very, very cheap, $152, $152 per contract. I mean, how often do you spend that on a nice dinner or something else? But for me, spending that on an options trade, on a butterfly, and being able to really maximize that potential over the course of a day is completely ideal. And so during a nice trending environment, what I'll do is I'll stack those up. I have them in multiple tickers at the same time. I've got them in ZTS and ZS and Zen and Visa and TWLO. And so that's how you're really able to rack up those profits during that type of market condition when you can really stack it up. So that's what you got in the stock pickers trending market environment, okay, with butterflies. But now let's talk about a nice, easy trending market. Now, let me tell you, we haven't really had that situation for a little while because we've been in more of a stock pickers and pinball market. But I still have a strategy for it and I still use it. That's called my 5-star setup. It's a directional trend following setup. It focuses on identifying high probability directional charts and trading them in an aggressive way, such as long calls. Now, keep in mind, up to this point, I haven't really even talked about long calls. Why? Because during this market environment, that is not what we're focused on. But you have to know how to do it, when to do it, so that you can lay into these type of setup. So you're going to have times like this where, you know, the market's just rolling over and dying, where you need to buy puts. If you buy a butterfly during that environment, it's going to blow through your short strikes and it's not going to be good. So there's going to be times like this where you need to focus on buying puts, okay? Or conversely, buying calls. But I don't really differentiate them. I know it's 4 different market phases, But in reality, to me, you're trading it up, you're trading it down. It's really the same. That's why I call it 3, okay? It's really just about being able to lay into long calls and long puts in a trending market condition. And that is really, really the time where I'm able to maximize this type of profit potential. So this is a screenshot back from when I did my Ready Aim Freedom class when we were in a very strong trending market condition. And I was using the 5-star setup every single day. And it was that setup that allowed me to make 10K on a 15K account in the first 3 weeks of January. These are the types of things that are possible in that type of market condition. And so when you go back and you say, okay, well, let's look at the stock pickers market again. You can definitely trade those long calls in a stock pickers market. You just have to be more selective and you have to focus on relative strength and relative weakness. So that's why I've come up with Phoenix. Many of you have probably seen me in the trading room, or you have Phoenix, maybe you're a Phoenix finder. But this is why I use my indicator, which is the Phoenix finder, that allows me to discern which sectors and which stocks are the strongest out of the bunch. So for example, in this screenshot, I was looking at XLY. This is a key sector, and Nike at this point in time was the strongest out of the bunch. And that's why it had, or that rather, it's not why, but this was what showed me that it had the best amount of relative strength. So Danielle, are those 10x bars? No, so those are actually, they're not 10x bars, but I've been meaning to combine them together. But those are actually trend strength candles. And so what they do is they measure the strength of the trend. It's based on price in relation to the moving averages, and then how the moving averages are aligned. And so they populate based on where the candle is. And so if the candle's bright green, it's a very strong trend. If it's dark red, it's a very weak trend. And then the yellow is a warning sign. So let's go ahead and bring this all together. So when I first started trading, I mainly focused on my 7 stocks to success method. How many of you got that class with my last class? Yes, you got it. Excellent. Got it. Yes, yes, yes. Me, you know. If you have the same error, try refreshing. Okay, so there are different classes for different moments in time. My 7 stocks of success method is based on a trend follow over time selling premium, okay? And there's also different methods for different traders. This grew into the 5-star. So in 7 stocks of success, I sold out of the money premium and I used that to make weekly income. This grew into 5-star, where I then sold at the money premium in trending stocks. After that came Finding Phoenix. This is where I learned how to focus on relative strength names to the upside and weakness names to the downside. And that's how you really elevate what you're doing here. And now after this has come Stack Profits and Pinball, you know, learning how to focus on low risk, high reward strategies, and then also using those in moments in time where you have the market that's just so volatile and it's banging back and forth. So here's a couple different things that, you know, we've covered over the course of this webinar. Number one, we've talked about using low risk to make high reward. We've talked about 3 different market phases. I like to call them the trading phases, actually. And then I also like to focus on locking in profits faster in this current pinball market phase. It's also important at times to focus on the best in breed ETFs and when being a stock picker offers more potential. So this picture is crazy. This is actually a picture that I sent my dad when I was living in Costa Rica, and this was my 6th grade class, and it says "Happy Birthday, Dad" on the background. You might not notice, February 21st. But this was me. I used to teach. I love to teach. I've always been a teacher at heart, and I still am. And this is my son watching me on Fox News at his school. It was so sweet. They let him watch me. It was really cool. But the moral of the story is that I talk to traders every single day, and I've done so over the course of my career. When I first started working with John, I mean, it was my job to talk to all the trial members, all the traders who came to us, and to figure out, okay, what is the best way to do this? And it was that experience has gotten me to where I am. So it's really funny because the lessons in gardening that I ignored as well as in trading are ironically the same. And if you have someone there to show you the way, you can get there so much faster. It's no different than any of these other skills. Hitting a home run, riding a bike, cooking a perfect steak, catching a fish. Tried to take Leo fishing, didn't really go very well. I don't know how to fish either. It can't be learned in a single try. And just like every class is a snapshot in time, it's not an overall view of the market on every single day. But I don't want you to get discouraged, because just like with my garden mishaps, I've also had some tidbits of success. Not everything was destroyed. The winter squash is going to survive, by the way. I also discovered that Malabar spinach, which I still haven't figured out what I'm supposed to do with this. Maybe I'm going to put it with a steak or something, but I decided to try out Malabar spinach, and apparently I can grow it really well. My basil plant looks absolutely amazing. And these are just different plants that I had no idea that I would be good at, just like I had no idea that I would end up being really great at trading butterflies. So it's one of those things where, you can't really discount something without trying it out. And so this just leads me to, it's really what people have been asking for, okay? People have been asking me. I've taught about 5 different classes throughout my course at Simpler Trading, and people have been emailing me and saying, Danielle, I love your classes, but I want to be able to follow up after. How can I do that? I want to be able to follow your strategy every week. How can I do this? How can I know what you're thinking, what you're doing? Where can I find your updated watch list? Where can I find a spreadsheet of your trades? I want to know what trades you're in and why. And then there's also so many people out there who say, I know that you're in the options room, but I don't have time to do that. I'm working full time. I just want a couple different conservative trades that I can follow along with when I'm working. Is there another option? And so that is where we're at right here today. And I know how I felt when I first started taking on trading. There's a couple different steps in here, probably some mishaps as well. But what I want to do is I want to help get you to where you're at, where you want to go to be successful in the strategy that you want to focus on. People ask me all the time, oh my gosh, there's classes and there's strategies, and what should I focus on? Well, what I can tell you is what I focus on. I focus on low risk, high reward, conservative trades. I focus on a stock pickers market during the moments in time where you're going to see relative strength and relative weakness. During the times where you have a trending market, I focus on really smashing it to the upside or the downside. And during this current pinball market that we're in, I'm focusing on between 25, 75% gains, low risk trades in this type of market. And so that is what I do. And if that is what you want to learn and join me on that path, I'm here for you. Here's a couple of different comments from people that, it really inspires me when I have members in our trading room or in the newsletter that will comment and say, how much they're learning and how much they're growing and how much they love learning from me and taking my classes. And it makes me want to just keep going and keep teaching, because at the very heart of this, I am a teacher. That's what I do. It's what I love doing. And I love trading along with it. So what I'm doing now for the first time ever is I'm introducing my own mastery program. So we did sort of a soft launch after my last class. And what this is it's a method for those of you who want to follow me, who want to learn my strategies, who want to follow my strategies and learn my trades. And so if that's you, these are the options that we have available. We have number one, a quarterly membership or an annual membership. You can find this at simplertrading.com/profits. And by the way, of course, I'm all about the bonuses. So I want to let you know that this is the exclusive introductory pricing, okay? September 20th, this is when the price is going to increase. Right now, it's basically the introductory pricing for my key members that know they want to be in the program and they know they want to join. When you sign up, you're going to be invited to the live trading once per month. It's about 3 hours once per month. And the second one is going to be on September 19th. We had a live trading last month as well. And when you sign up for the mastery program, you're also going to get the previous recordings from all of the additional live trading sessions. So honestly, I mean, I feel like for a 3-hour class once per month, it's for me, I feel like it's a pretty good deal. And you know me, I love to deliver. I want to make sure that everyone's understanding, everyone knows what's going on, we're all on the same page. And that is my goal for you. As an extra bonus, I wanted to add my chapters for Mastering the Trade. So how many of you have read John's 3rd edition of Mastering the Trade? So if you haven't, I have 2 chapters in that book. And the first chapter is about my first chapter is about my beginner's struggle. Okay. John wanted me to write about my beginner's struggle because you know why? He's never really met anyone that went into trading options and didn't even know how to trade stock. And so I was basically the patient zero. And so I wrote about my beginner struggle and how I got from point A to Z. And I also wrote about why I created the 5-star setup. And so you will get those 2 chapters immediately as a download when you sign up for the mastery program. Yes, John's is the same day, but it's different times. Do you send out alerts on non-trading days? Yes, I've been sending out alerts daily. I have been sending out alerts daily. Scott says, I'm really enjoying your Stack Profits Mastery Program. Have enjoyed being a member for almost a month now. Thank you so much, Scott. That's excellent. How is it different than the Stack Profit Mastery class? So the classes, what they are is they're a distinct moment in time on a, we're focusing on the market condition that's happening right there. And so what the mastery program enables you to do is it enables you to follow up after the fact, the same strategies, and enables you to go through time. And so you can take the class, the Stack Profits class, and that's representative of that moment in time where we're focusing on these trending strategies. But then what happens is you take the class and, you can learn how to do the strategy yourself. But if you want to follow along with how I'm implementing the strategy over the course of the next quarter or the course of the next year, you can join the mastery and then you can see how you're following along. So within my mastery, this is my program, and I took your feedback to heart. I've gotten messages, emails from people who said, Danielle, what I want is I want a watch list, okay? I want to know what setups you're stalking, why you're getting into them, what you're looking at. So I have included for you a document that I update once or twice a week, and I send out a message when I update it of a watch list of the tickers that I'm looking for, what I'm trading. I also have a spreadsheet. People have been asking for this forever. Hey, we want to see your spreadsheet. We want to see what trades you're in, when you're getting out, and why. I also added a members forum because this is our community, okay? This is our Stacked Profits community. These are the other traders that are focusing on Phoenix, they're focusing on Stacked Profits, they're focusing on 5-star. And you can make friends with them and you can talk to them and you can figure out what's working for them and what's not. The next piece of this is the 5-star trader newsletter. So how many of you get the newsletter? Yes, John's class is on the 19th, but it's at a different time. So John's class is at the open and the close, and mine's from 10 to 1. So the newsletter is where I'm really able to update you 2 to 3 times per week, my market analysis, what's going on, here's my tidbits, and you are part of that community and you're always getting my ongoing updates. The live trading is absolutely critical because it's not just live trading. The way that I do live trading is I focus on a specific topic and I want to make sure that you can learn it from A to Z. I know that we only have 3 hours together, but I want to make sure that you have a concept, you've got it down, and you understand what's going on by the end of that live trading session while also throwing in trades. Like I said, my mastery trades have been the most conservative trades that I have been focused on. And those trades have been going really well throughout the course of this market condition. With this live trading schedule, the current live trading schedule, even if you can't attend them live, you'll have access to all recordings. So I know we got a couple different mentions of someone has a class at that time. Well, we are going to, we stagger those. So we don't have them at the exact same time. We'll have them at different times throughout the day, but this is going to be the live trading schedule over the course of the next year. May change 1 or 2, but for the most part, I mean, it's absolutely going to be once per month for at least 3 hours. And I've been very, very active in my alerts. I've been sending alerts multiple times per day as far as the market condition and trade alerts when I get into it. Here's an example of my weekly watch list. So I think that the weekly watch list is absolutely critical, because I cannot trade everything, but you may want to. And so another important piece about this is that not only am I telling you what I'm looking at this week, I'm telling you why. And so I want to highlight my overall market view, my favorite indexes, my favorite sectors. And this is really a snapshot into my mind. Oh, you've really enjoyed the mastery program, especially the profitable trades. Awesome, Buckeye Jim. You think it's great you're adding a members forum. You know, that was one thing that people had asked all the time. So with the market in pinball mode, how does that coincide with only meeting once per month? So that's why I have been sending so many trade alerts. Not only trade alerts, but just updates, because I want to tell people, hey, this is why I'm doing this. We're doing something on a shorter time frame. This is what I'm focused on. And these are some examples of some of the trade alerts that I send. So as you can see, you know, I try to be very descriptive in what I'm going over and why. I think that's a really important piece of this. I'm a beginner understanding fundamentals, new to technical and more complex option strategies. How should I start? Well, it depends. Are you ready to start trading? You know, for me, when I first started trading, I actually did paper trading just because I wanted to get the strategies down. And I wanted to get the strategies down, and I wanted to understand how they worked and why before I actually used real money. And I think that's a really important piece of this, okay? So what I would recommend if you're just still focusing on, okay, how do I do these strategies? I think it's a great idea to start out with paper trading so you can see how it works out. And that's how you can learn. That's how I did it. And I would never, I would never suggest that you get into more, complex options trades without having really a full understanding. So that's what I would say. But I dove right in. I dove it right in just like you. So, and this is where I'm at today. So newsletter is good and entertaining. You read it regularly, you get the newsletter. So is this different than my Stack Profits Mastery class that meets each month? So Greg, you must be in the mastery program. You must be in the mastery program, because if you took the Stack Profits if you took the Stack Profits class, that's different than the mastery program. You love the membership and you've completely exceeded my expectations. Love the watch list and alerts. Thanks so much. That is so sweet. Thank you. Okay, I'll fix that, Milo. Hard to concentrate the whole day of teaching. Can you or John change the date? Yeah, I can look into that. Danielle, you definitely bring value to every class and teaching session. Thank you so much. Here's a snapshot of the forum. You know, it really just goes back to me. For me, it just goes back to what is your inspiration? Why do you want to do this, right? So what is your inspiration? Why do you want to do it? For me, I do this because I like to spend time with my family. I like to, you know, focus on the future, think about what I want in the long term. And anything that I can do to kind of get me there quicker is ideal. And if I could go back in time, and I've had some struggles, if I could go back in time throughout my struggles, which by the way are documented in that download you're going to get when you sign up, very embarrassing struggles. If I could go back in time and kind of shorten that, I would do it. And so that's just really what I'm trying to do here today. Were the trades that you showed us sent to your Stacked Mastery students? Yes, all of the trades that I showed you were trades from the Stacked Mastery program. Danielle, with the real-time text alerts, these give the details of what you're trading, your entry price, stop, and target. Yes. So here's some examples of, these are, when I put them in the spreadsheet, I just put the order because it's, you know, it's a lot of detail. But in the actual orders, this is what the actual orders look like. And so it's quite a bit of detail. How much do your average trades cost? Are they suitable for a small 5K account? Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the majority of the trades that I do are, especially during the pinball market, are even cheaper just because it's such a volatile time and you want to focus on lower risk strategies. So I'll do anywhere between, I think the Facebook butterfly that I had on was 87 cents or something like that, which is $87. And I will do some more higher price trades. I don't do them very often. The most expensive one that I had was $11 per contract. So if you have a $5,000 account, that would be a little bit too much allocation. But like I said, it's pretty rare that I do something that expensive. Normally my trades are going to be between about $1 and $5 on average. And then if I have a really good setup, I will go a little bit more. And then I also give different options. So here's the examples of the open trades I did. There was that one $11 one. And then I have some unbalanced butterflies, $3.75. The unbalanced getting in for 53 cents of a credit, but you have a risk of $3. So, you know, your risk is $3 per contract. So pretty much all of them have been under $5. Yep, my alerts have been great. Do you have to be an ST Gold member to access what you're offering? No, we're offering this because there are so many people out there who say, hey, you know, I don't have time to be in the gold room. How do I just follow along with your strategy and your watch list and what you're doing without being in the gold room all day? And so that's exactly why we're offering this. And for those of you who are in the gold room, I have another question that says, the alerts you will be sending in your mastery class different or more than you send out to options gold members? So what I've been doing is I've been focusing on the more, the strategies that fit my Stack Profits methodology, which are conservative trades. Those are the ones that I'm focusing on in the mastery. They're a little bit more conservative. they're typically longer term, except for right now in this market condition, they have been a little bit shorter term. But this is my methodology based on the 5-star Phoenix method. And so the goal is that if you follow along with these trades over a quarter, over a year, you're going to get my methodology, you're going to understand what you're doing, and you're going to be able to do it yourself. In the gold room, I'm always doing active trades during my sessions. I'm not always posting trades all the time. And then also, you have to remember that there's 8 traders in there on a daily basis. And so, I cannot be, taking up the entire chat based on all of my analysis all day long with all of my trades. And so I have been doing that for the course of the last week because Henry's been out of town and normally that's what he does. But after this week, once Henry gets back, the majority of all of my market updates and my trades are going to be focused on my mastery. And so you're going to be able to get morning, afternoon updates for me. There's going to be a couple different weeks out of the year where I'm traveling, where I'm not going to be actively posting alerts multiple times per day, but I'm going to make you aware of that. And I'm going to make sure that my positions are adjusted accordingly. But the idea is that if you want to be in the mastery and if you want to be in my program, it's because you want to follow my trades, my methodology, have my watch list, be in the forum to talk to other traders that are following the same methodology so that you can focus on what it is that you want. And so for me, this focus is what has gotten me to where I am. And I've gotten to this point by following a variety of different traders and coming up with what works for me. And that's what I'm sharing with you. Yes, there is a spreadsheet. There is a spreadsheet. Many brokerages allow you to open a paper trading account. Yes, in Thinkorswim, they have paper trading. Most definitely. That's the one that I used when I first started. You've been doing an awesome job with all the updates and trade alerts. Gets a bit hard to sleep sometime. I have to turn off the alerts on my phone. My wife gets mad. That's so funny. So this is coming from someone who's in New Zealand, by the way. So I'm not sending out alerts in the middle of the night in America, but that's hilarious, Craig. And I'm so happy that you wrote that for me. Danielle, I can do one trading class. How do I choose between your mastery class and John's small account mastery? This is a question that I get all the time. And I love John so much. He taught me the majority of what I know. I respect him more than anything. We will give you the same answer every single time, which is you have to go with what you really just are attached to and what you want to learn more about. And I feel like I hate to say that it's a feeling, but we are going to have different classes, different educational services, and you kind of have to look at what you are wanting to learn and focus on and where you think you can get by following specific people. And so that's really a question that you have to answer for yourself, You have to say, hey, is this a program that I think would help me get to where I'm going? Or is it something else? And I'm completely fine with it either way. Are all your trades short-term? I see you here exit in a few days. Do you usually trade with weekly options? So it's actually pretty rare that I get in and out of trades within a few days. It's just because we've been in the pinball state of the market. Normally in any other market condition, I'm typically going to be in a trade between about 5 days and about 2 or 3 weeks. So you just have to keep in mind that in this current market condition that we've been in, the way to make money is by fading these moves. And so you have a huge move down and then you can buy it. And that move only lasts 3 days. So if you buy this move up here, you have to get out of it in 3 days because guess what? In 4 more days, it's going to be all the way back down where it started. And so it's just because of this current market situation that we're in. And that's why I wanted to go through the variety of market conditions, because we're going to trade all of these market conditions. And the reason why the mastery is different than a class is because we're going to go through every single one of these conditions together. And so while a class it's so important to me. I love teaching classes. It's a snapshot in time. And so if we're focusing on a trending market condition in a class, that's what we're learning in that class. But in the mastery program, what we're doing is we're molding and melding to every single type of condition we have. And so the trade examples that I have for you for the mastery are based on the last, 6 weeks of what I've been doing in the mastery, because that's the condition that we've been in. But that's why I pulled out those other examples from the previous classes that I've done, because during a stock pickers market, during a trending market, you're going to have different types of trades. And that's why I wanted to show you, this is what's possible during a trending market. This is what's possible during a stock pickers market. And this is what's possible during a pinball market, because those are 3 different things. And those are the 3 different methods in which I trade. Thanks, Paula. You're amazing. Your teaching style is so helpful for a beginner like me. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Sophia. That's so sweet. And, I'm so happy that you are happy with the teaching style, because the once per month teaching sessions are so important to me. And I'm so glad that I get to sit down and talk to everyone. And that's exactly what I'm focusing on. On the list of your trades, can you put in a stop loss for the newer ones of us who are newer to this? So that's pretty easy. My stop loss is typically 50%. So there are times where I will give it a little bit more just because of the volatility, like especially on capitulation days like this. There will be times, and this is why position sizing is really important, because there's going to be times where the market opens up and just gaps down immediately. And maybe that move happened in 15 minutes. All right. Maybe you're working full time or whatever. And that's why I always say that you have to position size for the full risk of the trade. And yes, I do intend on getting out within a 50% stop loss, but you also have to be aware that this type of thing can happen. So typically 50% stop loss. Danielle, will you still be scheduled in the gold room? Yes, I'm still doing the close in the gold room on a daily basis. Danielle, you're an awesome teacher. Really appreciate the time and effort you put into all that. Love the mastery. Can't wait to master this. You're the best. Thank you so much, Sharon. That's so sweet. Not sure that answers my question. Learning how to do a trade is one thing, but learning how to find future scenarios where I can implement those trades on my own is something different. Does she show a systematic way of researching stocks with determining what strategy to go with? So that is really a combination of everything that's involved in here. So number one, the classes, the individual classes that I talked about, the Phoenix Finder for the stock picking market, and then the Ready and Freedom class for the 5-star market, those are the ones that you're going to have between 5 and really 15 hours of recordings to go through the ins and outs of each strategy, okay? So if you've taken those classes, if you haven't, those are available to you. But if not, or if you just want to jump right in and just do the trade alerts right now without doing any of those classes, you can do that, and you can follow along with the watch list, which is what, if I go back to my, let's see, I have a slide in here somewhere. This one. Okay. So with my weekly watch list, this is where I go over, hey, these are the tickers that I'm looking at. This is my overall market view. Here's the indexes. Here's my favorite sectors. And this is what I'm focusing on and why. And that also is discussed in my trade alerts that I send out pretty much daily, multiple times a day. If you are the type of person where you say, hey, I want to know your 5-star strategy from A to Z, and I want to know the whole thing, then we have that class recording available as well. So it kind of just depends, do you want to get a jump start right now? And do you want to focus on, hey, these are the strategies that I do. This is what I work on. And you want the updates, you want the watch list, you want the newsletter, the forum, or do you want to take the class and learn the strategy yourself? So there's just a difference between what's going on right now and then focusing on different strategies in different market environments. What if a pinball turns into a trend? That's exactly when we shift our trading strategy again and we go back to a trending market environment. If we sign up before September 20th, are we grandfathered in? Yes, absolutely. So this is the most important key here, is that right now we have an introductory rate. And so if you sign up before September 20th, you are going to be grandfathered in at the introductory rate price. And after this, it's going to be increased $3.97 and $12.97 per year based on the quarter, based on the year. And so if you sign up tonight or if you sign up before September 20th, yes, absolutely, you're grandfathered in. And then also you're going to be able to attend the live trading. So I did see multiple comments about, oh, you know, it's on the same day as John. So I will get back with the team and check in on that and see if we can do something about that. Because I completely understand that. I know how it goes. Jill, definitely. Can you email Anthony at simplertrading.com and he will get back with you on that for sure. You have the foundation program. How can you cancel it and trade up for my mastery? So yes, email Anthony at simplertrading.com. You can also email support@simplertrading.com. We have an amazing team in the background that is right here to help you. Danielle, I signed up for the mastery program in August and you got 2 chapters for mastering the trade. Awesome. You think I mentioned 3 chapters. So what I was talking about was I have 2 chapters for mastering in the trade. So congratulations. Yes, thank you so much. You've been one of the introductory members. So you did already get the bonus, which is amazing. So the next bonus that I'm also adding here is the path to consistency. So this is a PDF doc and this is a sneak peek from my upcoming book. And that's the additional bonus that I'm adding here tonight. Are the alerts via email or text there via push notification? You're a natural teacher. You're so very thorough and easy to understand. Thank you so much. Awesome. To clarify, your mastery program is ideal for people who are working full-time versus the gold options program. You know, I hate to classify it like that because I love the gold room and I'm not going to stop being in the gold room and I'm not going to stop presenting in the gold room. But at the same time, you know, there's only so much that I can do. We've got John, we've got Henry, we've got Bruce, we've got Sam, we've got Allison, we've got Jack. This is meant to be an environment with multiple traders where people can come in and kind of see what they like. And I'm definitely still going to post some trades in the gold room. But what I found is that people who are in the gold room, they want, you know, a little bit more active trades, something that's going on right now in the market. What the mastery program is for is it's meant for people who want to follow the specific high probability methodology that is the base of what I do. And so, you know, it's tricky for me because I love the gold room. I love being there and I'm definitely going to still post trades there. But at the same time, the mastery program, I mean, that is where I'm basically putting my heart into. And so, you know, this is where you're really able to follow up, catch up, see everything that I'm doing. And I'm not able to post all of this in the gold room every single day because people will be like, wow, you know, you're an attention whore. You really like the fact that you will adapt to the different market conditions, up, down, or sideways. Awesome. I use Thinkorswim. But I mean, I do think that it works really well for people who are working because, you know, if you're working, you can't be in the gold room all the time. And with this in particular, you have 1 live trading session per month. You have a trade spreadsheet that's updated. You have a watch list. You have alerts. And so for me, I feel like this is a much better situation for people who are working. You already subscribed to simpler options. So I think that I talked about that. Do you typically have bigger gains in a trending market than in today's pinball market? Absolutely. So, I mean, for me, it's really not difficult to, you know, I'll have times where I can easily double double percentages in this type of trending market environment. And so during this type of situation right here, 25%, 75%, which I still think is a pretty decent gain. But I've grown up under John and I love laying into long options. It just makes my heart happy. So during this type of market environment, I mean, I'm really focused on, 200% gains or more. And you're focused on long calls, you're focused on butterflies. You have to adapt to this condition or else you're going to get killed. If you try to have, for example, during this type of market condition, I'll have like 70% of my account long. Okay. During this type of market condition, I have about 20% of my account allocated and I have half of it for bullish trends and half of it for bearish. Okay. And then I also have profit targets that are between 25% to 75%. On this one, I'm focused on the long side. 70% of my account is in the market and I'm working on, 100, 200, 300% gains. And so what I do is I really try to cash out during these times. And during these times, I'm going for, singles and doubles. And that's just what you have to do. I mean, you also have the option to just say, hey, forget about it. I'm not going to mess with this. I'm going to wait till I get the trend. You could do that. But, you want to be a well-rounded trader and we're here because we love to trade, right? So you just have to learn how to meld with the different environments. Well, I put the calendar up again. Past your bedtime. See you tomorrow. I have to get back to work. Look forward to the class on the 19th. The trade recommendations that you have recommended that I've taken are sitting at 85%. Thank you for your time. Thank you for Darrell for an awesome job as well. Thank you so much, Craig. That is amazing. I'm so happy about that. And I'm so happy that you are coming to us all the way from New Zealand. Danielle, I'm always in the trading room and online. I love your stock analysis and really made some good trades. Thank you so much. I should have followed you on the Disney call, held mine too long. Yeah, it happens. Will purchasing the proprietary indicators be required? No, absolutely not. So the one indicator that I have is the Phoenix Finder. But the point of the mastery program is that you're allowed to follow along with without having all the indicators. So if you want to purchase my indicator or if you want to purchase one of my classes, I'm sure that we can, for my members, we can do a discount. Typically we do that. For my last class, we did like discounted Phoenix rate for members of mine. So if you have a couple different classes of mine, or if you have, something like that, I mean, we can definitely, if you email support@simpletrading.com, we can figure something out like that. If you want a discount on any of the previous classes. How much does it cost to just have the alerts? Well, this is basically what it is, I mean, the alerts don't just come by themselves. The alerts come with the once per month live trading, with the watch list, everything else. I would not ever feel comfortable just sending alerts without having any of this other stuff because I'm a teacher. I'm here to educate. I want you to see what I'm doing. And when I'm wrong, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to say, hey, listen, you know what? Sector rotation hit the market and my short XLF blew up in my face. And that's what happens sometimes. And guess what? Here's where the stop was. This is how I mitigated my risk. And this is how we learn from it and move forward. So I would never feel comfortable only sending alerts without the rest of this. Thanks, Jeannie. You're the best, Danielle. Your passion to help others and teaching capabilities are authentic and effective. changing opportunity. Thank you so much, Jan. I appreciate you so much. How much detail do you go into as far as actually placing the trades? John went so fast, it was hard to follow. So I do keep my mastery room up all day long for those of you who are in it. And I do actually have the chat activated. That was something that I wanted to do. And I have kind of, you know, it's really interesting because I have this opportunity where I'm really able to do, I don't want to say whatever I want, but I mean, you know, within reason I can. And it was important to me that members were able to communicate to me. And so I have the chat open. It's open all day long. I have it up at my desk. I do go to the gym at lunch sometimes, and I'll go to lunch, you know, where I'm gone for an hour or so, but I'm there to answer questions. And at the very least, you know, you should be able to communicate with the other members and create that community, because that's something that I really wanted. Do I have an indicator package that comes with this offering? No, I'm not selling any indicators tonight. If you really want an indicator package, we do have Danielle indicator packages. If you would like that, you can email either support@simplertrading.com and say, hey, you know, I want a package of Danielle's tools, and they can set something up for you. I'm considering doing this for a living. Is the gold room more beneficial if I can be available throughout the day? The gold room is awesome, and I'm never going to say the gold room's not. You know, the gold room is for active traders. You can be in there all day long with a variety of different traders. It just comes down to a point where the gold room allows you to learn about a variety of different traders, a variety of different strategies. And then at some point you have to decide what you want to focus on. And so depending on where you're at in your journey, you might be in that spot where you say, oh, well, you know, I'm not really sure if that's the strategy I want to focus on. I want to explore more. And that's completely fine. I get it. I've been there. And so in that instance, you know, the gold room is great for that. But then at some point, you know, I mean, you can't be all over the place, right? You have to focus in one spot. So you have the opportunity as well as you can try out the gold room $7 trial and see how it works for you. You just signed up. Let's start tomorrow instead. Awesome. Are these all risk-defined trades? Yes, they're all risk-defined. I do not sell any type of naked puts or anything like that. They're all risk-defined. As far as a specific IRA rule, that's something I really can't speak to. But I can tell you that pretty much all of these trades are going to be spreads, butterflies, and balanced butterflies. I might do some calls, but the market condition just hasn't called for it. Since we missed seeing August, do we get next August? Well, you actually get the recording of August, which you can go and watch at your leisure. So if you sign up now, you still get all the content that was created prior to that. Do you actually start on September 19th? No, so I actually started a couple weeks ago. It's been kind of a soft launch. So I had my last class at the end of July, and then after that, I kind of, you know, slowly launched it, and we offered this program to members who were a part of my last class. And so we're in it, we're going. It's been a regular thing, and this is the first offering that we've had to a larger audience. In addition to Phoenix, an options gold member, you make trading less successful. Awesome. You have a VWAP on your chart. So that VMA, that was John's VMA from his most recent class. How often is the watch list sent out? I've been doing it at the minimum once per week. And then when it needs to be updated, I've posted an update and I've said, hey, you know what, things have changed now. And then I send out a push notification to let everyone know it's been updated. Full-time day trader from 1997 to 2008, then left the market to join corporate life. Now getting back into full-time trading and starting with options this time. Great information. Looking forward to the new venture. Thank you for all this valuable information. Awesome, Matt. Well, thank you so much. Kim says, just registered, excited to learn your strategy. Been trading options for a couple of years and absolutely love how dynamic options are. You know, and that's what I love too. And I love that you can really switch through these different market modes and conditions with different strategies. If enough people are following your trading recommendations, can this potentially move the market? That has happened, yes. So typically when I'm trading something super illiquid, especially in a trend following market environment, yes, it has happened. When we're trading stuff like, you know, Microsoft, Adobe, McDonald's, that's not going to move the market. It's when you trade more IBD 50 type names. All right, so we have Caleb, Anthony, Joseph in the background. If you call, you can call our phone number. You can also email support@simplertrading.com. And so any additional questions, I mean, if you have questions about your account, if you know, if you've bought previous classes, if you want one of the indicators, if you know, anything like that beyond the options available to you here right now, if you purchase here right now, simplertrading.com/profits, that is where you're going to be able to sign up immediately. You're going to have immediate access. You're going to get my 2 chapters for download. If you want to talk to our team in the background, here's the phone number. Support@simplertrading is the email address. And beyond that, I think that that's about it. Yes, there is the record within the mastery program. So when you sign up, you can see the spreadsheet. Do you find it difficult to exit butterflies? So sometimes, and this is kind of the tricky part about it, because you know, during different market conditions, during a strong trending market, I'll trade some aggressive calls to the upside. And I don't really care if it's in a liquid name because there's momentum and it's going and I want to get into it. With butterflies, it does get a little bit trickier. So there are some times where I have to work the order for a little bit, but we'll go through that as well. And I'll post alerts and I'll say, hey, you know, I'm trying to work this between this and this price or whatever. So we do have those problems with butterflies sometimes, but I don't really find it to be I don't find it to take away from the value. So while you may have to work an order for, you know, 20 minutes or an hour, sometimes we're doing this because we are looking for the sale. You know, we're not going in and buying something at full price the first day it gets out. I look for sales. I go to Costco, shop on Amazon, I like Target, and that's how you have to be in the stock market. And so with the butterflies, sometimes, you know, you have to work the order a little bit, but we do that because we're not trying to go in and buy a, you know, $20 call in the NASDAQ. We're trying to spend, you know, $2 on a butterfly for upwards and downwards movement and leverage. So the official trade alerts will be sent through the alerts tab. Yes. So the trade alerts are sent. If you are in the Stacked Profits Mastery dashboard, you can log into the Stacked Profits trade room. You can just have that up during the day if you're at your computer and you want to see the alerts and what's going on. And you can get them there, or you can get them via push notification on your cell phone. And then I also post them after the fact in the spreadsheet. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate having you in the program. All right, well, I think that I have kept you long enough tonight. So if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to send me a message at Danielle@simplertrading.com. If you have a purchasing question about your own account, I'm actually not able to see individuals' accounts, so it would be better if you email support@simplertrading. If you have a question about that, okay? But if you have a question for me personally about your own trading journey, about what you think is best for you, about, you know, do I think you can do it or what would help you? Anything like that, you can send it to me. So my email is Danielle at Simpler. Sorry, it's hard to write with a mouse. simplertrading.com. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you being here with me tonight. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. And beyond that, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Susie, Mike, Kim, Justin, Ken, Jeannie. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next one.